Welcome back to Electro-Anarchy. Today we're going to do something a little bit different. Do you have a let's say mid 90s, late 90s, early 2000s, mid 2000s GM vehicle where the needles go all kinds of crazy, where the gauges kind of go limp and do crazy stuff? You're doing 60, it shows 20 and all that good stuff. Well, the problem isn't your sensors. The problem more than likely is the stepper motors inside your instrument cluster. Well, this happens to come from a 2004 Chevy Venture van, and all three of these gauges are completely and totally messed up. Sometimes you'll be driving 60, it shows you're going 10 or 20. Sometimes the fuel gauge just dangles on the bottom. The temperature gauge will go all over the place, do crazy stuff. So, if you have that problem, we'll show you what you need. It's pretty simple on GM vehicles. What you need is that right there. These are the stepper motors for GM vehicles. Okay, what these guys are, little small stepper motors. They solder onto the board. There's 4 connectors, and these just line up on the board, screw in, you put your needles back on there, and away you go. It's all good. Now this particular kit comes with 4 stepper motors and all new bulbs. And if you ever mess with these gauges, it's super frustrating to do some work on your instrument panel and put it back and then find out you've got a couple of bad bulbs. These do not use LEDs, these use the old filament glass bulbs with filament. The company this came from was Parts Time, but this is what what it is in the box. If you want to do that, there's that. That's pretty much it there. Instruction manual. I've done a few of these, so pretty simple. Basically, take the gauge apart, take your needles off, strip everything out, pull the old stepper motors off, put the new stepper motors on, put everything back together, and put it in your car, enjoy your new gauges. So what I'm going to do is probably fast time this. I'm going to tear this guy apart, and we're going to change out the bulbs and the stepper motors. So away we go here. Okay, now we're ready to reassemble this thing. The big things to watch out for is make sure all your bulbs are pretty much straight when they go into the housing, so they fit into their compartments and everything correctly. Everything here looks pretty good, so what we're going to do is start reconnecting this thing. Okay, this little guy connects back down here. It's a little, which depending on the models that you have, this has an information center. You know, if you have like a Chevrolet truck, the information center is in the middle right here, but this one is off to the side, as you can see here. There's a few things to be aware of when doing these, getting the stepper motor set in the correct position so that the gauges will read correctly when you put it in the vehicle. First thing we're going to do is we're going to secure this thing. So put the back plate on it, and it just clicks back into position. 3 clips just like that, and now you're left with your instrument panel. Alright, first things first, I believe these two are the same. Okay, now these stepper motors, you can turn them when you go to put these needles on. You put it on the shaft, just do it very lightly at first, and what you'll do is you can hear it. I don't know if you can hear that or not, but you can hear the motor running. What you want to do is you want to go all the way around till it stops. If you go too far, just go the other way, push it the other way, or take it off. What you want to do is you want to go till you hit a stop. Shoot, goes all the way over there. Okay. Go till you hear it stops, and once it stops, you're going to feel resistance against it. Push it down a little bit, and then gently turn it around the shaft. And what you'll want to do is turn it just slightly until you get it lined up with its off position, or its start position, I should say. So right there, we're lined up pretty good with empty. Press it in real good. Then you can go up and then go over, and where it stops, that's where your empty is going to be, right there. Okay. Same way with your speedometer. Put it in just lightly. Okay, now see, it's all free. It's all nice and free. And then it seems to hit right there. Okay, so here, I'm going to lightly turn it until we hit 0. Right on the 0. Press it down. Now when you go up and you go back down, it's 0. Okay. Same thing on the temperature gauge. Put it on the shaft. Okay, stop there. A little tension. Pull it on over till it gets too cold. Right there. Press it in. Okay. And stop. And there's our cold. So everything's in its startup position, which is the way you want. Put in your little clicker for your miles and oil and all that good jazz. And then we'll set it back together. Okay, and there we have it. That's how you change out the light bulbs and the stepper motors in a GM dash. We'll go put it in the vehicle, hook it up, and I'll show you how it all looks. Okay, as you can see, everything's back in. Turn it on, resets, and everything works like it's supposed to. So, job done.